Welcome to Lost on Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today we're talking about Season 3, Episodes 5 through 8. I'm Will. Also here is Ben, and you can watch full episodes of the podcast on YouTube if you aren't already. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found at patreon.com/drskeleton. Here we are. The Ides of Season 3. I guess not quite. Ides is 15, I think, right?
I thought it just meant the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it should mean that, but I think it's like specifically just the 15th and like potentially only of March. You can't just start generalizing it.
That's good. I should stop telling people that I'm in the Ides of my life.
I'm Ides aged. Call back to earlier episode of the show. I thought this was a good stretch of episodes.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Hard to believe that this is, some may call, the worst season of the show.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that shoe to drop because I understand it's coming soon. That like this is all gonna fall apart and be just like super painful. Because so far, you know, it's maybe a little bit of a slower start than I'd like to the season, but like,
yeah,
each episode of Season 3 so far has been, I've been interested.
Yeah, it's not bad. The dudes on the island are doing island dude stuff. We've got 2 islands now, as we discussed last week. Our time. We've got a couple background characters still popping up. You know, they're giving you a little taste. Oh, did they really hate it? Did the fans really hate the background characters? Can we just add them in? Maybe a couple of them will like these guys a little bit more. Yeah. It's okay. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think that we're in a different mode than we have been. Like Season 2, I think, was very much a mystery. And this season, I might describe as a, I think maybe horror thriller in that area. It's not exactly horror, but it is pretty much, it's like we've got like kind of a super villain going on, or we've got like the main antagonist of Ben, right? And his little like group and his machinations, and he's like, I mean, he's got our heroes trapped in like saw setups and stuff. He's doing jigsaw shit to them. And yeah. So I think we're kind of close to horror.
You don't watch horror stuff. I don't think you know that Michael Emerson is in Saw, do you?
You probably told me that, but he's kind of got him in.
He did.
I don't know.
They look like
little contraptions, right?
Yeah, I would say it's not. It's kind of Saw minus the saws, basically.
Yeah,
you know. Just you're trapped.
Yeah,
they should just call it Trapped.
You're trapped. They should make a movie called Trap, and it's about this instead. I have this whole thing that I wrote about Picnic at Hanging Rock, Damon Lindelof, all that. Maybe we'll get into that as the episode goes. But let's just jump straight into the episode and talk about Season 3, Episode 5, The Cost of Living. This aired November 1st, 2006. It was directed by Jack Bender, and it was written by Allison Schapker and Monica Owusu-Breen. And the sepia filter is on, so we know it's an Echo flashback.
Yes. This is Africa that we are in.
Oh, I caught a little bit of the Bourne Identity on cable the other night and realized that Adewale Akinwumi Abaje who plays Echo, is Wombosi in that. For
I
all my
haven't.
Born Identity heads, he's Wombosi.
I don't remember that. I don't. I think I've seen the movie, but I don't really remember it very well. So I'll take your
It's
word
kind of
for it.
crazy because they like aged him up a lot. He would have been like 35 or something at the time of filming it in like 2002. He's like younger than he was in Lost, but they give him like a gray beard and glasses and stuff.
Mm.
But I'm like, is that him? And I look it up. Indeed it is. Okay. This is not a podcast about the Bourne movies. As much as everybody keeps requesting that we talk about the Bourne movies. Okay, so in the flashbacks, Echo assumes his late brother Yemi's role as a priest in their village. While adjusting to his new position, Echo is confronted by militiamen who had a deal with Yemi for clinic vaccines. Echo devises a plan to sell the vaccines on the black market before leaving for London. When the militia discovers this, they attack Echo in the church, but Echo goes beast mode and just kicks all of their asses, killing them all. The villagers, deeming the church is desecrated, shut it down. Amina, Yemi's close acquaintance, condemns Echo, urging him to repent and fulfill his debt to Yemi by rebuilding the church. Any thoughts
Yeah,
on the
it's.
flashback?
I feel like I don't know. I like it when the characters have a couple things going on in their background. Echo's kind of got like one location, which is
I
a
thought,
little boring.
I thought there'd be more added in here. I guess the wrinkle was that like maybe we were sort of thinking that after the plane, or after the tarmac incident where they got fired on and Yemi got shot, and as they were taking off and Echo got pushed back, like maybe we thought like that was going to be Echo's like turn to virtue. He was just going to start being a godly good man then, but then he like
Well, I think he's turning. I think he's in the process of turning through this
he's maybe in the
flashback.
process of turning, but he's got this plan to sell the vaccines to the black market.
That is
He doesn't just strip. He's like,
true.
you know what? I'm just going to start being the priest, and like I got to honor my brother's legacy, and I got to do what's right for the village.
Which is also the first part. You can't really do that, You're in a kind of in a bad place if you're pretending to be a priest. You can't just be like, I'm a good guy now, and I'm a priest.
I mean, you can't do that.
Well, you can't. I mean, you're not allowed to do that in the church. You can't just be like, I'm a priest now.
Right. Okay. Sure. Yeah. They're not going to be. They don't want you to do that, but he could do that.
Well, yeah, he could technically do that. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't mean he physically can't do it. He's doing it. He's already doing it. But yeah.
And that could be interesting. Is like, I'm a bad man, but like I'm gonna kind of learn this priest stuff on the fly. He's like holding up the stuff during the ceremony and like kind of looking around. He's kind of like, I think this is the bread of Christ. And people are like shaking their heads and you're like, it's the body of Christ. People start nodding. You're like,
get back.
Okay. Next step.
I think people do that. I used to do altar serving stuff, and like I heard the jokes or stories, probably not apocryphal really, of like, oh, sometimes in the past there were like drunk priests and the altar servers just kind of helped them through it when they did not know what they were doing.
For sure. That's got to be
Yeah.
mostly what's going on there.
Yeah. So, in terms of acting it out, Echo probably in a pretty good place on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so on the island, Echo, delirious from a vision of Yemi, sees his shelter catch fire and disappears into the jungle after being rescued by Charlie and Hurley. Locke leads a group including Saeed, Nikki, and Paolo, the aforementioned new guys, Nikki and Paolo.
Yep.
They go to the Pearl Station, the one with all of the screens in it that we saw earlier.
Yep. Paolo takes a move out of your book and immediately heads to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, on the other hand, puts on her detective cap.
Yeah, it figures things out. But I guess like kind of concurrently, they find Echo on their way to the Pearl Station, who is searching for Yemi's body at the plane crash site where Boone died. Okay, so yeah, inside the Pearl, like you said, the group discovers a live video feed showing a man with an eye patch before the camera is turned off. Yeah, Nikki's like, what if these other screens show? And they're like, doy, we should have, thought about that.
Yeah.
And that's how he rejiggers some things.
That
We haven't seen this eye patch guy, new guy.
Haven't seen the eye patch guy, but I do want to say that I was a little annoyed by that. They're like, well, what's the phrase? Like, just giving a softball to the new crew, you know? It almost felt like the A team was faking that one of like, oh, we never thought about
guys,
that.
what do you think we should do?
Let's turn on the other 5 TV screens. Wow, we never thought of that one
Great
before.
idea. Mm-hmm.
So cool.
So I take it you're not a fan of the new guys. You don't like Nikki and Paolo.
Got to give me a little bit more. Give me some more background to these people, you know? Just give me something to go on. I don't care about people just chilling out with the A team at this point. We've had multiple background story things for almost everyone at this point.
I gotta say, if we start getting like, if I hear that rumble flashback noise on Paolo, I'm gonna be like, oh no, man.
What if it's just a little gimmick episode and they do a little rumble and then it's just like Paolo's like, I'm going to Australia. And then he's just having a good time on his vacation in Australia.
Yeah, it's just that, yeah.
And then he's like, well, better get on my phone. What if he was on like standby? Because he's like, wow, I just had such a great time in Australia. I woke up bright and early. How about I get on the early flight back to LA today?
I don't even want to see this. I don't
welcome,
care.
Sir.
I
think that'd be good. That'd be fun.
The only way I would like it if they do like the rumbling flashback sound, and then they like the sound mixer seamlessly transitions with like the toilet flush and they get into Paolo's IBS and they start talking about his struggles there. That would be an episode I could relate to. And actually, this is a great opportunity to get into this. So the bunker blew up, right? Or is done now, right? Like the one that Desmond like blew up the I forget what they called that bunker. The Swan Station?
Swan. Yeah.
Yeah.
It imploded but also exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't it's we did see I feel like Kate was the only one to ever like take advantage of like, okay, it's like a real place again. She took a shower there, and we've established that like, okay, you can take like a nice hot shower there. We're kind of, I think it's a little suspect on everyone else on the island who wasn't like, oh my God, thank God, I gotta go take a shower. And weren't all just like doing that. And then also like, why isn't there like a daily everybody goes and takes a shower because we can here?
Everybody was talking about taking shifts, pushing the button and stuff like that. How about take a shift to sleep in the bunk bed or something too,
Sleep in the bunk bed, take a shower, like use a toilet, like a real toilet instead of like whatever you're doing out in the woods. And okay, since like the bunker blew up, it kind of seems like most people don't notice. I feel like I would be so out of shape or so bent out of shape about it. I mean, I am just out of shape, but like I would be so upset. That's like, oh, we just got a toilet after like 40 days and you guys fucking blew it up, dude. Like I was going to take a shower. We were able to sleep and stuff.
But the
God
A-Team,
damn it.
the A-Team kind of kept it a secret from a lot of people for a little while as well, you
For a
know?
little while,
Like, they just
indeed,
told us
yeah.
about this stuff like a week ago, and now they're going and blowing it up? Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, I do want to say,
Someone goes into the restroom after I'm done. They're like, "Oh my God, Desmond must have hit the button again." No, that's just. I just need to go to a doctor.
it does surprise me every time they mention how many days they've been on the island. We're like pushing 70-ish around now, right? Does that sound right? It's been like 60 something.
I don't know if we've heard a hard number in a while.
They
but...
said 69 like a week.
Oh, they
or
said
so
69
ago.
last.
Yeah.
In one of the last 4, yeah. So
Yeah.
probably around that.
And I'm, you know, it's not that long. It's not that long to be on an island. I gotta say, you know, like you could have just not paid like they wouldn't have turned off your electricity bill yet, you know? Like usually they do like 30-day, 60-day, 90-day aging
Sure.
on like debt collection. You didn't pay your electricity bill. Your electricity's still running. Your refrigerator at home's still running, you know? You better catch it.
I feel like it would feel really if you don't have like if it'd be one thing. It's like you got to make it 70 days and you're good. Like that's one thing. But if it's just like an indefinite, like it could be the rest of your life, that 70 days is going to feel so much longer.
I don't know, maybe, but like they've accomplished so much, you know. I feel
Yeah.
like if you're the
That's true.
rescue boat, you know, Paolo, Nikki out there, they're not into Magic Island vibes or anything yet, and they're still waiting for the rescue boat. The rescue boat dudes show up and they'd be like, "Wow, you guys are really accomplished. You built little huts for yourself on the beach." And they'd be like, "Yeah, we did that." Meanwhile, you got the A-Team who are like, "Yeah, while you've been gone, we've killed like upwards of half a dozen people
Yep.
by our own hands. We have discovered a network of
Another
underground
society.
hatches. We discovered another
yep.
society. We discovered like very contemporary technology inside of these hatches as well. We killed one polar bear and encountered another polar bear.
We've got this smoke situation going on. We found an abandoned ship.
We
got
had some
all
people
these-
go out into the ocean, come back. We got a
Yeah.
kid that got kidnapped, and then his dad killed some people and found him and they escaped as well. And we blew up the hatches. Like, damn, that's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff to be doing in 60 days. I can't do stuff like
Like,
that
if
in
you're
60
not-
days in New Jersey right now in 2024 without being stuck on an island. I can't do all that stuff. They were
well,
busy.
if you didn't, you know, like if I wasn't playing Balatro on my phone, I think I'd be able to get up to a lot of these things. But I think that if you're not part of the A-Team, really what's happened, you know, like it really has been like for like Nikki and Paolo, like they come and get rescued after 70 days and be like, "Oh my God, what have you been doing?" And it's kind of been like
golfing.
kind of just waiting around. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been a few of us who've been super busy and a few of us who've just kind of just held it down. We're just eating mangoes, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The A-Team really
Ben is
needs to
having
just
like
chill.
living in like the sound effect zone over there. There's like like chimes.
I
stuff
am
going up over there.
managing. I cooked a lasagna. I was managing, trying to secretly tell Shelly to take out a lasagna, but
Oh, nice. Okay.
all the sound effects that were part of a sort of a contraption, a Rube Goldberg machine of identifying to her that the lasagna should be taken out.
There's like a hand on the end of a ruler that's like putting the pasta down. Save a piece for me. So they, meanwhile, Echo follows a vision of Yemi into the jungle. Yemi demands Echo confess his sins, but Echo refuses. claiming he only did what was necessary to survive. And I gotta say, for the most part, I kind of agree with him. But like, what else? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. No comment, no disagreement here.
Mhm. And then the smoke monster attacks, fatally injuring Echo. He really just gets thrown around kind of randomly out of nowhere a little bit. And before dying, Echo whispers to Locke, who later reveals Echo's final words of, well, Locke says, he said, "We're next." I don't know. Echo said, quote, "We're next." He might have said, "You're next." But yeah. They're
No,
next.
it was a literal quote. We're next. And then
Mhm.
Locke's like, damn, no, you're now. You are now, my friend. Unfortunately.
Kind of like, yeah, it for you. I got some conflicting information about the how Adewale Akinwumi Abaje's like contract was maybe only for one season, or he decided he requested to be written off the show because there was like illness in his family. I don't really know what's the truth on this. It seems like, he was there to be this interesting foil to Locke. I guess I'm surprised to see him go. Kind of took me by surprise. It didn't seem like it was necessarily his time. It seemed like he certainly could have been bringing that energy throughout the rest of the show, but I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about the death of Echo here, and what to make of the like. It didn't seem like, the smoke monster or a smoke monster just busting him up like that. He showed it down before. Like, how do I take his demise? Because is did the smoke monster like respond to his stare down earlier and like go back and is like, all right, I'm gonna go train up and like kill Echo now? Did he just happen to wander into Echo territory? Was that supposed to be sort of like Yemi is that monster? Is it a manifestation of his sins that are like that? Like, what am I supposed to take from his demise like that? I'm not really super sure.
Maybe he just got.
I guess so. Just like,
Probably not. That's a little Paolo and Nikki mindset out of me on that one. But yeah, just remember Magic Island. Everybody's fair game to come back, Boone kind of came back.
sure, yeah, like in a vision, yeah.
You might see him again.
We might see an Echo.
25 years, Twin Peaks style, They could
Okay.
come back. Maybe they are coming back.
At the Hydra, Jack is invited by Ben Linus, which is, I don't think we talked too much about how Ben's full name is Ben Linus. What's going on with that? Why Linus? We got all these different philosopher names, and your last name is Linus? Isn't that the Peanuts guy?
Yeah. Is there not a philosopher? Are you telling me Ben Linus is not a philosopher name?
Linus of Thrace. In Greek mythology, Linus was a reputed musician and master of eloquent speech. He was regarded as the first leader of lyric song.
Okay. We got a thespian on our hands.
I think that isn't probably too far off. Linus Van Pelt is the name of the cartoon guy. Best friend of Charlie Brown, younger brother of Lucy Van Pelt, older brother of Rerun Van Pelt. Linus is a younger brother named Rerun.
John Locke in the universe of Lost, John Locke begat all these other philosophers. So who knows? Maybe we're going to get a Charlie Brown showing up later in this season. Little
We
Snoopy.
do get a Charlie Pace full name reveal later on.
Ooh.
Okay, so yeah, at the Hydra, Jack is invited by Ben Linus to attend a memorial service being held for Colleen. On the way, Jack asks about the symptoms of Ben's spinal tumor, particularly pointing out that it will kill him. Ben professes not to know what Jack is talking about. Privately, Ben asks Juliet Burke why she showed his x-rays to Jack. Juliet replies that she never told Jack whose x-rays they were and remarks that Ben must have inadvertently confirmed Jack's guess. Jack's doing a bit of mind games of his own.
Jack's back.
Jack's back, baby. He's I gotta say,
That doctor is pissed off. I guess it's not. I don't know why I thought that was. I was trying to say that like that's a known saying, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, it doesn't really hit for me.
The doctor is pissed off.
Instead of in, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. I guess that's where it was coming from. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
A classic riff on an old classic.
That's what they say to you as you head into surgery, you know? But he's mad.
He is mad.
I'm just tempted to say it again.
And, yeah. I'm trying to head you off with this. The performance that Matthew Fox gives in this episode, like he's winning me over again. Like I've been like mad about Jack. I've been anti-Jack for a while. I do think like it's a tough role to be in, to be this sort of ostensible. Do you think he's number one on the call sheet? Like he's kind of like the main guy in as far as the crew goes. He's not his name isn't first in the starring credits. I don't know if it's still Adbaje's name, number one, but like Jack is kind of the main character. And it's an ensemble, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of tough work to be able to pull off, and I've been liking him more, I guess, as of late. And I think he does a good job in this episode. And he's trying to do some mind games on Ben. And as somebody who's tried to out-Ben Ben before, I know it doesn't work. You can't out-Ben a Ben. Ben's always going to out-Ben you. He's always going to come out. He's always going to Ben you. But he does his best. The following day, Ben tells Jack that they had a perfect plan to convince Jack to operate on Ben's spine, but it failed when Jack saw the x-rays. And afterwards, after this, the goofiest thing I've ever seen on TV happens. Juliet brings to Jack's cell a movie which consists of Juliet speaking through cue cards. As Juliet discusses how the surgery will proceed on the tape, she tells Jack via the cue cards that Ben is a liar and very dangerous, and thus the surgery should be intentionally botched to kill Ben, and that she will protect Jack if he does so. Zoe and I were like howling at this.
It's always when you see this in a movie or whatever, it's always a little questionable. Was this really the best way to go about telling your secret, by committing your secret to cue cards, you know,
and
network television TV size cue cards, and then a VHS? You know,
I know, like it's so crazy that like, you know, still at the end of this chunk of episode that we've seen, like I still kind of there's nothing telling me that was like all a ruse, but like I'm still like that was that can't have been what it looked like. That was so crazy of her. That's so wild. Like it's pretty like I don't know. It's like, oh wow, something wild is happening right now. Like we were sneaking Jack a secret message, and she's actually trying to get out of this. Like I don't know. I don't know what to believe about her. That was so crazy.
Yeah.
What was it like? It's a complicated surgery. Nobody would ever know. It just like big cue card. It's nuts. I don't know.
Yeah. It's also just, it's not a good plan, you know? People are still going to be pissed off. There have been accidents have happened, mistakes have been made since
yeah,
they
they're
kind
just
of
still just gonna
re-encountered. They're still going to be pissed off. They're
kill
going to
you.
treat him like he
Yeah.
killed you no matter what. Yeah. Also, she's like, doesn't she say like, I want you to watch uh, To Kill a Mockingbird? Is that the
Yes.
allegedly it's To Kill a
Yes.
Mockingbird? Which is for listeners of our other show, long time will know. My parents kind of did this to me. It's a little bit similar to, yeah, a story from my past where my parents would play the movie October Sky for me, um, kind of cryptically before they wanted to tell me other news in my life. And they're like, watch this, and then we have some news. And then they're just like, do you get it? And then drop ostensibly completely unrelated news on me.
Yeah, for new listeners in the show, and I know there are some. I know that sounds that like Ben's delivering that pretty calmly. It is like the craziest thing you've ever heard about somebody in your life. Like we don't have time to get into it on this show, but like, yeah, that is a true thing about Ben, his
But
life, and I guess that's what's going on here.
Juliet doesn't give him much. I don't. I've seen To Kill a Mockingbird a few times, but I don't remember it well enough to know. But like, it's an older movie, so there's a good chance in that like 2 minute conversation that they have, like if she was really playing that, you're still just watching like title cards, you know?
Well, the thing about the opening to the beginning of To Kill a Mockingbird is that it has one of the greatest title sequences of all time, in my opinion. And it's beautiful, but there's like kind of an extended, kind of rare for that era, like uh, slow panning shots, like macro shots of like a child's like desk, like colored pencils and blocks and erasers and
Mm,
uh things like that. So like my problem with the scene is that like I would be like, Juliet, hold on. I
I gotta
don't know
watch.
what you have to say. I need to be. It's unrealistic that that anybody wouldn't be immediately locked into such a compelling beginning to a movie.
Jack is like, but Jack is like, turn it off. I don't want to see this.
Yeah,
Crazy.
unrealistic. Yeah, unrealistic for a middle-aged white man to not want to watch To Kill a Mockingbird.
I would
So,
want to watch pretty much any movie I think they put in front of me after 70 days, you know?
yeah,
What other movies do you think they have on the island?
I feel like I would be
Bring them
like,
out.
did you have like the full recording of the Sox winning the World Series? Like, I think that'd be
Oh yeah.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be a good one. Okay.
Yeah. Um. Oh, another thing, I guess.
I'd be
So
like, do you have the video of Colin Powell at the United Nations saying that there are no weapons of mass destruction? I'd like to see that. I can't remember the exact timing if that's happened or anything yet, but roughly should have happened about now.
he keeps asking, "Did you guys get to the bottom of 9/11?" Wink, wink. You're like, "What are you talking about?" You know, you guys figure it out yet? Um. Now that Sawyer is off the main island, Desmond is stepping in to fulfill the standing around like he's in a Calvin Klein commercial role with his shirt like unbuttoned to his navel kind of thing.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
that's a good part of the show. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, it's a 3 for me.
R.I.P. Echo. Season 3, Episode 6, I Do. Aired 8 November 8th, 2006. Directed by Tucker Gates. Written by Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. This is the last episode before a mid-season break, and it returns 3 months later, so it kind of makes the cliffhanger at the end of it feel even more of a cliffhanger, perhaps. Flashbacks. Kate flashbacks. While evading the law, Kate adopts the alias Monica and settles in Miami, where she marries a police officer, Kevin Callis. You recognize the guy playing Kevin?
I do. But I can't name
I
him
called
if that's what you're waiting for me to
Nathan
do.
Fillion.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was brought up in an early episode. I was thinking like I kind of fan casted him as Jack, I think, for a little bit when I was, maybe less hot on Matthew Fox's performance in season 1. He would have brought a totally different energy. He would have been like a smarmier, like, I don't know, smart alecky Jack, which I don't think would have worked. But and probably too big of a name at that point. But yeah, Nathan Fillion's there. Kevin's mother gifts Kate a treasured family heirloom, a gold locket traditionally passed to daughters. Despite her efforts to lead a normal life, Kate wrestles with her past. She calls U.S. Marshal Edward Mars and pleads for him to stop pursuing her. Mars skeptically agrees, provided that Kate truly stops running, something that he doubts. Later, Kate is relieved by a negative pregnancy test and resolves to come clean with Kevin. She drugs him, leaves the locket in his hand, and disappears, choosing her freedom over a settled life.
Yeah.
She can't commit. She can't settle down. She's got that wild in her.
I'm not interested in that, I gotta say. Kate.
She's a wild Iowa stallion.
Yeah. Running around too much. I'm losing. I'm not gonna say it's not even pity. I'm just like, I've seen this before. Not interested, to be honest. I don't like Kate episodes, but I really don't like seeing the same kind of theme for her over and over.
I liked this episode. I liked this Kate episode better than the last one that we saw, where we actually saw what Kate did episode in season 2. But I like this episode better because of what it's paired with in the present. I think that that made a good combination with, like, if you can think about and examine her relationship with Kevin and compare that to her relationship with Sawyer and Jack too. Like, I think that there's some interesting things that are going on more than just like, what's the backstory about her? Can you tell me about that? But yeah, if it wasn't paired with what's going on in the present on the Hydra Island, then it would have been, less compelling to me, I think. In the jungle, John Locke leads Nikki, Paolo, Saeed, and Desmond to bury Mr. Echo, who Locke claims was killed by, quote, the monster, or the island, right? Like, he says, like, the island killed him. Locke justifies burying Echo where he died to spare the survivors from another funeral. Saeed confronts Locke, seeking the truth, and Locke admits his belief that the monster is connected to their arrival on the island and that Echo's death has a purpose. And he's kind of, unable to lie. He's like, I'm just going to tell you how I think about it. And I know that, Saeed, you think, like, you definitely don't agree with me on this, but this is what I think is going on. During the burial, Locke notices an inscription on Echo's stick. Lift up your eyes and look north. John 3:05. Deepening the mystery. On Hydra Island, Jack Shepard refuses to perform surgery on Ben Linus, doubting the others' promises of freedom for him, Kate, and Sawyer. I want to talk a little bit about Ben's plan here a little bit too. Like he's heading into, like, Ben talked last episode about how he had this big plan to get Jack to want to save Ben in this surgery. And it was all ruined when he saw that x-ray. And I thought it's an interesting thing to do. So yeah, Ben is kind of in this mastermind role for this season. And he did like in the last season when we didn't really know anything about like his backstory or whatever, and it was just kind of Michael Emerson's performance, he was able to do like this manipulation on people, and it worked on like the viewers of the show to like, oh man, it ended up like, oh, Ben was lying the whole time. He was like manipulating them on everything. He's kind of this like super genius. And then I think that what the writers of the show realized, or like what they're writing around, and I want to commend them for it, of what's going on, is that like once you like establish that someone is kind of like an in fiction super genius, like an in fiction genius, then like you kind of need to, especially if they're like if they're like, oh, I'm laying all of these genius plans or whatever, you need to, start backing it up, and when you show the plans, the viewers, it needs to work in real life as like, oh, that is genius, that is really really good. And that's really hard to do because like genius is just tough to write, to like to be something genuinely like super smart and clever, whatever. And so we kind of they kind of were able to have their cake and eat it too, where they said like, okay, Ben has this really clever plan to break Jack and break the companions down to whatever. And then so we can just sort of imagine what that would have been with this setup of Kate and Sawyer in the cages and Jack in the aquarium and all that. But then through happenstance, he saw the X-rays, gonna have to scrap it and just like head to the next thing. And he didn't actually need to. We didn't actually need to see the genius, the breaking of Jack. At least not in the episodes that we saw. Maybe that's to come. But I thought that was a clever way of writing around that. So yeah, Jack refuses to perform surgery on Ben, doubting the others' promises of freedom for him, Kate, and Sawyer. Juliet tries to sway Jack, leveraging Kate's safety. Kate, in turn, pleads with Jack, but he declines. Frustrated, Kate escapes her cage, frees Sawyer, and insists they run. Sawyer reveals that they are on a separate island, crushing her hopes. The two share an intimate moment, unaware that they are being watched via surveillance. Yeah.
Multiple moments. Yeah.
I don't know. It's I liked it. I liked it. I for one had a great time with it. No, I like their relationship. It kind of it's in what I meant earlier about like the Kate's past and Kate's present, dealing with Sawyer. I gotta say, Evangeline Lilly doing a great job this episode. She's selling it, and like her connection with Jack, like in the aquarium, like through the glass, like pleading with him, like she is desperate to save Sawyer about this, and I do believe that she cares deeply for Sawyer in this. And I gotta say, this is maybe Lost's case for Polly or something. I don't know what but I saw too in the Wikipedia article about this that we're supposed to see that like Kevin, Nathan Fillion's character, her husband, Kate's in her past, sort of symbolizes this sort of like commitment and settling down, and Kate is this wild spirit, and even though he's committable, he's settled downable, she runs and she can't get there. And her and Sawyer, on the other hand, they're both not put down roots type people. It seems like you'd definitely not be able to make it work between the two of them. But they kind of juxtapose that together. We're like, she does kind of commit to Sawyer in this episode. Not like necessarily long term or whatever, but like, she gives herself over to him emotionally.
Yeah. That's true. It doesn't really.
And he does that to her. He says, "I love you."
It doesn't really do a lot for me, but it is kind of, I guess I do like this tiny little plot line between them on their kind of adventure into and out of the cages.
Indeed. Meanwhile, Jack finds the surveillance room and sees Kate and Sawyer together after they shared their intimate moment. Sawyer is cradling Kate in his arms. Ben appears, and Jack agrees to perform the surgery, demanding Ben's promise to let him leave the island. During the operation, Jack sabotages it, holding Ben hostage to force the others to free Kate and Sawyer. Jack instructs Kate via walkie-talkie to escape, but she hesitates, unwilling to leave without him. Cliffhanger.
Jack, I mean, smart, I guess.
Very smart.
But
I think so.
Also, like, fairly easy to see coming. Smart. The thing we got to get a surgeon on, a real surgeon on to talk about is like, can you really just like nick somebody like that? And then like, he's like, he's got an hour. It seems like nicking somebody, I mean, I guess that's the smart thing. But like, it's difficult to inflict like a fatal wound on someone, in my mind. A fatal wound that's like fairly slow ticking.
I mean, sure, maybe they got the science a little bit wrong. I don't.
No.
I don't really care.
I don't really mean that. I don't mean about it being wrong or something like that. But interesting. I would have just. I mean,
Ben
if it was
really
me,
should not be yapping.
I would just be. I've got a gun to his head now, or I've got a scalpel to his neck. Come on, give me the walkie-talkie or whatever. Get these guys off the island. But I guess that's why I'm not a spinal surgeon.
Yeah, maybe you give your
After I did that
version a shot.
After I did that last time, they said you can be a spinal surgeon if you. This is kind of a one and done situation. No forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. We really didn't get like any mystery stuff in here, really, but like, what's their purpose? Like, what's going on? What even like, not really anything supernatural going on. And so of the stuff that isn't that, I think this is one of the strongest episodes we've seen of the non-mystery stuff. Like the interpersonal stuff, I really liked it. Like I like how we brought the Kate stuff together, and we're seeing the schemes and ruses that Jack pulls and things like that. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. Really good episode.
Interesting. It's a 3 for me, only because of Jack's stuff, the surgery stuff. Otherwise, it'd be like a 2 or something like that. I'm not a fan of the other stuff going on.
Okay. You're like you're saying you're covering your eyes when two characters kiss on screen now.
Yeah.
Anyway, right? Yeah.
It's too much.
Ew.
It's never.
I'm not allowed to watch this.
What do people say? That's never necessary. I've never seen a necessary kiss.
This episode of Lost on Ice is brought to you by us, Ben and I. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you'd like to support us, please subscribing to our YouTube channel or heading on over to patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Thanks for being here. Season 3, Episode 7, Not in Portland. Aired 8 February 7th, 2007, directed by Stephen Williams, written by Carlton Cuse and Jeff Pinkner. Juliet Burke, a fertility doctor in Miami, is secretly treating her sister Rachel, who became sterile due to chemotherapy. Rachel, played by Robin Weigert, who plays Calamity Jane. Basically, they're just casting in Deadwood. They're basically just casting, they're pulling a lot of people from Deadwood in for Lost. I think that's pretty cool.
Got a lot of people in this universe. Gonna need a lot of TV folks, so makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose it makes sense. I guess Deadwood maybe is like wrapping up at this point. So like maybe a bunch of these, actors are available, and they have just proven that they're more than capable to show up. And like season 3 of Lost, they've got the budget. There's like, let's throw Robin Weigert a guest star role or something like that.
I guess, yeah. Do you get paid a lot for that? Doesn't seem like it would sustain you too long, especially if you're already really
Dude.
wealthy.
Man, if you clinch like a guest starring role in like a network show in 2006, I bet you're set for the rest of your life. I bet you could literally live for the rest of you could one guest spot.
Well, but you just said these people coming off of Deadwood. So if they were set from Deadwood, why do they need to go to Lost?
I mean, why does anybody want more money?
Okay.
But like it's good money.
They're getting extra. They're getting extra set. Okay. Like, are you?
Yeah, I think they paid them to show up on Lost.
That's not what I'm saying. Are they making like hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars on an episode? What are you
over time? Right. I mean, like it's a network show, right? Right. Like I think that you're going to be getting. I mean, I have no idea. I don't actually know, and I was really my green screen's all borked. But yeah.
That just sounds like Matthew Fox would be the richest man in the world at this point, then, because he's in 100 and something episodes of these.
Well, yeah, but maybe he didn't. I mean, we don't know what his contract was. Like, we didn't know if Lost was going to be successful or not at the start. Like, they fired the executive who greenlit it right away. Like, we don't know what his contract says.
Okay.
Maybe by season 3 and 4, he starts being able to command that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, I bet he's doing great. Okay. Do we see Matthew Fox in a bunch of stuff nowadays? No. He's probably sitting all right.
I think I'm still not understanding the financials for the people coming out of other big shows, but okay.
I just think that they probably get a nice
You're right.
Chunk
They probably
of change.
do get. They probably do.
Yeah, that's all I mean.
Okay.
Sneaking into a research lab for an experimental drug, Juliet is caught by her controlling ex-husband and boss, Edmund Burke, who was also in Born Identity.
Damn,
as
this
a
guy
bald guy.
This guy watched Born Identity and wrote the whole season.
Mm-hmm. Edmund confronts her, demanding involvement in her project, but Juliet remains non-committal. Walton Goggins also in Born Identity. He's just like one of the random guys, like in CIA headquarters, just like typing away at a keyboard. And
so he really did do that. This is like when I was a kid and I watched James Bond movies all the time, and then I'd like sit down at the computer and try to write my own little script, and it just turns out to be a James Bond movie, and I imagine.
Well, Walton Goggins isn't in Lost, as far as I know, but
no. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. I thought you were saying that he was in this somewhere, and I missed him.
Sorry. I just was also remembering Walton Goggins, seeing Walton Goggins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd write little scripts, and I'd imagine, you know, I'll be casting Sean Connery for this character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edmund Burke confronts Juliet, demanding involvement in her project, but Juliet remains non-committal. Shortly after, Juliet is approached by Richard Alpert from Middleos Bioscience, who invites her to join the research team in Portland.
Who's this guy?
He's the mayor from Dark Knight.
That's true. Do you know the guy's name, though? Famous character actor. Insert here.
Guy with drawn on eyebrows, or he's got some serious eyebrows.
He looks like he could be like the fictional version of the Jeff guy from Survivor, the main guy.
Yeah. Nestor Carbonell.
Nestor
eh?
Carbonell, damn.
Nestor in the news.
Yeah. Seems like a good actor. Seems like his whole career has probably been hindered by the fact that he's got a whack ass name. You got to get a better name.
I don't know if that's the case. He is one of those guys who like he's kind of. I mean, he does just look like Jeff Probst.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he's in. Oh, he's in Shogun.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say yeah. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, no, he does not look like that in Shogun. He is.
Is he a
He's got
Japanese
like
guy
a
in
full
Shogun?
beard. No. He's like the He's the Spanish guy who like at the towards the start of the season that takes Cosmo Jarvis.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking
and like
about. Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
looks like that. He looks like this guy. I mean, he looks like himself.
All right, he
I'm gonna
looks
say.
completely different to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
I can see deep into his soul. That's why I could also. That's why I was able to tell you that his career was hindered by having a whack name. I think it
guess so.
was. I think it was.
He seems like he's like slightly too handsome or something. He's like one of those kind of guys who like uh he just he's just a little bit too handsome. Like he seems like the model with too good of acting chops. I mean, he seems to be doing just fine. He's acting and doing great work. But the reason
but he's not starring. That's how I feel about that Glenn Powell guy.
He is
too handsome. Don't put him in a movie.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I think that
he's trying to test that. He is the too handsome guy trying to break out of that. Like, that too handsome guy?
You have
to be handsome in the right way.
You gotta have a deficiency. You gotta be Tom Cruise, but you're 5 feet tall. Glenn Powell. You have a good real life, so you should just stay in real life and stay off the screen.
Yeah, I'm a Glenn Powell believer over here. I think that he'll make it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying I see why this Nestor guy's good because there's that little bit in him that's like, I can never be Sean Connery because my name is Nestor. I can never be.
Yeah, he's living with Matt Gates. It's his kryptonite.
Those guys are. Now that you say that, I don't know how to explain this. I'm not going to explain this any further. We can get off of this, but those guys are similar. This Nestor guy and Matt Gates.
Well, you can't say that. No, you literally can't just leave it at that.
No disrespect to Nestor, but they've got a similar weirdness to them. Nestor in a good way, Matt Gates in an evil way.
Are you talking? Please tell me you're just being mean about their looks, or are you saying?
Oh, I'm being mean to Matt Gates. I'm not being mean to Nestor. What's his name? Nestor Holt.
Carbonell. To be clear, Matt Gates is like a pedophile. It can't be like they're like weird in the same way.
They're not weird in the same way. They just, when you say that, I can easily imagine them living together in a weird buddy cop movie.
Well, yeah, because Matt Gates, his like weird adopted son guy's name is Nestor.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Did you say that?
I thought you knew. I thought you knew.
No, I didn't. This is co-host intuition over here. I got a little next episode, but I got a little Desmond going on in me.
It's because I've been referencing it as assuming you knew what I was talking about, and you're like, you drew the comparison I was hoping you would make, and then you came up with it. All right,
correct.
Anyway,
okay, back to Lost.
Yeah, Nestor wants Juliet to join them, but Juliet declines, tearfully explaining that Edmund would never let her leave unless something extreme, like getting hit by a bus, happened. Soon after, Rachel reveals that Juliet's treatment worked. She's pregnant. When Juliet informs Edmund, he insists on publishing the data, but Juliet refuses. Moments later, Edmund is struck and killed by a bus. Which really, I feel like this happens all the time in TV shows, but who's out there getting hit by a bus? No one gets hit by a bus these days.
This happens in like Mean Girls, right? That's the bus hitting accident that I
everything
think of. Yeah. It's
like that one shot, like it's hardly surprising at this point if you like someone steps into the street and like turns back to say something, Like
Yeah.
you just know you're gonna hear that
You're
exact
gonna get
sound
hit.
effect. Yeah.
Beep beep.
Yeah. At the morgue, Albert and Ethan Rom appear. Alpert, sorry.
Alpert.
My bad. I said Albert instead of Alpert. They appear reassuring Juliet that the accident was not her fault. I don't think she thought that it was her fault. I think she pretty immediately was like, "It's your guys' fault." Like, no, don't blame yourself.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree that she thinks it's their fault, but I do think she
does.
I think she thinks something's weird has happened. But why would you think it's their fault?
Because she said he's got to get hit by a bus, and they show up.
Yeah. But I think she's saying that in like a we did this type of way. It doesn't matter, but
Yeah, all right.
that's what's going on.
They
in my
persuade her to join their research, promising only a 6-month commitment. However, Alpert admits that the facility is not quite in Portland, implying its remote and mysterious nature.
That would be a big red flag, I feel like, if I was a doctor. I don't want anything mysterious going on about mine.
Yeah. Well, it's not quite in Portland.
That's like, especially for a fertility doctor, you're like, damn. I'm not gonna go be a fertility doctor at a black site. There is no way anything good is going on there. You know?
Absolutely not.
You got to put a bag over my head. I wonder and take me somewhere. Not going to be good. I am not trying to help anyone there get pregnant.
Yeah, at this point, I think that I kind of feel that like maybe Juliet, to be charitable to her, I think she's probably like smart enough to put things together. Like, okay, if they killed my ex-husband for this, or she suspects that like I think I need to just kind of go along with it to prevent them going after my sister or you know like too much worse going to prevent more bad things from happening. I think that maybe like this could easily turn into starting like instead of enticing me, this could turn into threats pretty quickly here. They might as well just kidnap me and take me there. Better go of my own accord.
I disagree because of what I said earlier, but I understand what you're saying. I don't think I'm not convinced that she's feeling threatened yet.
Yeah, probably maybe not. I just feeling it out. During this flashback, I wrote down like what I thought was a revelation. And maybe it is. It'd be funny, but like I thought where this episode was leading was like, oh, they figured out how to make Ben pregnant. I thought that's what was going on.
What?
They got Ben. They're like, she's a fertility doctor. I'm trying to connect it back to the present. She's like, oh, she's operating. Why is it so important that we save Ben's life? And she's like, oh, it's because he's actually pregnant with something important. We figured out how to make men have babies. Big deal.
Oh yeah, they do make. Alpert does ask about.
Yeah,
you made a rat.
Like to get the male mice pregnant or something.
You made a male mouse pregnant? She's like, yes. And then it does the reverse rumble back. And then they get to the end of the
and that's what I wrote down. Like, oh, Ben's pregnant. I figured it out.
The end of the surgery with Jack and Juliet's like, thank you, Jack. He's pregnant now. And he's like, no, I removed the tumor. And she's like, actually, you unknowingly impregnated this man. No.
Oh,
you tricked me.
Jack Shepard holds Ben Linus hostage during surgery, forcing the others to let Kate Austin and Sawyer escape. Juliet warns Jack that Kate and Sawyer cannot flee Hydra Island as it is separate from the main island. Jack retaliates by exposing Juliet's earlier request for him to kill Ben. At some point, Ben wakes up in the middle of the surgery because Jack is, I guess, not an anesthesiologist, as he says.
Yeah.
He's a spinal surgeon. And his surgery voice is Southern lawyer. Would you please go get Juliet?
Yeah. It's pretty good. I like dudes waking up in the middle of surgery. Which is also, it's also why
big thing for you.
they don't let me be an anesthesiologist anymore either.
No, I didn't make a mistake. I just wanted him to wake up. Yeah.
I love when this happens. Yeah.
This is so funny. You should have seen the look on your face. Look in the middle of this surgery.
What's the furthest you've ever made it counting down when you've had anesthesia?
They don't give me anesthesia.
Never?
I don't think so.
I have this memory as a kid that I've only realized since I got older was probably a joke, probably a prank, though now I'm starting to second guess it again that like it's not a good prank, I guess, especially on a kid, but like breaking my arm and going in for
That's a pretty good bit.
Closed surgery, and the anesthesiologist asking me to count down from 20.
What does that mean?
What? Closed surgery is like
Closed surgery?
They're not going to cut you open. They're just going to, literally, the doctor's just going to pop that stuff back into place, which is what happened.
Okay.
But I got anesthesia to go completely under and counted down all the way to 0. And then the doctor went, oops. And that's the last thing I remember, but it's a really lasting memory.
Yeah, that's not a good bit if that's a bit. That sucks.
I used to think it was like scary. And then like a couple years ago, I started thinking, nah, actually that was a bit. That was a joke. And now saying it out loud and thinking about it in the context of Lost, I'm like, actually it probably wasn't a bit. Probably was kind of scary. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's scary.
Whatever.
How long have we been doing this? I'm getting 2 completely different recording notes. My one thing says we've been doing this for half an hour. The other one says we're doing it for over an hour.
Yeah, over
We've
an
been doing
hour.
this for over an hour. Oh, okay. I've been like dragging this out because like, oh gosh, we need to fill an hour, but I need to speed it up. Okay. Meanwhile, Alex Rousseau helps Kate and Sawyer escape or evade capture, offering them a boat in exchange for rescuing her boyfriend Carl, who is undergoing brainwashing. Yeah,
this guy's going through
sneak past Mac.
Yeah, he's going through straight out of Clockwork Orange style.
He is
brainwashing.
He's got like a rave going on.
Yeah.
They sneak past, or they take care of Mac from Always Sunny before he turned into Ryan Reynolds and the other most annoying guy who's ever lived. I know people aren't gonna like that. I think Always Sunny sucks. Okay. They succeed, and Alex sends them off with Carl while she stays behind. Back at the Hydra, Ben awakens and privately speaks with Juliet. She then convinces Jack to complete the surgery, promising to help his friends escape. On the beach, Juliet kills Danny Pickett to protect Kate and Sawyer. She bam, bam, blows him away. Afterwards, she reveals to Jack that Ben promised her freedom after over 3 years on the island if she ensured his survival and facilitated the escape. Jack, still a prisoner, is left pondering her choice.
There we go. It's a pretty good episode, I think.
I would say so. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. How about you?
It's a 4.
Good stuff. Season 3, Episode 8, Flashes Before Your Eyes. Aired February 14th, 2007. Directed by Jack Bender. Written by Damon Lindelof and Drew Goddard. While in the middle of a conversation with several other castaways, Desmond, David Hume, without warning, sprints toward and dives into the ocean. No one on the beach understands why until they see that Claire is drowning. But Desmond saves her, noting this event as well as the events that happened Previously in the season, such as Desmond knowing about a speech Locke would have made before he would make it, as well as Desmond inserting a rod on the tent just hours before that rod was struck by lightning, Hurley concludes that Desmond has precognition. But Charlie is skeptical. They hatch a plan to get Desmond, to get him drunk and confess. After several drinks, Charlie asks Desmond about his future seeing abilities. Instead of answering, Desmond gets up to leave, but after Charlie calls him a coward, a drunken Desmond tackles and chokes Charlie, shouting that Charlie does not know what he has been through. Yeah, Charlie's on his fucking bullshit this episode, and yeah, I think Locke might need to beat the shit out of him again.
Yeah.
Like Claire's getting like rescued, and Charlie's just like all over her. He's territorial about it. He's like, I can't tell. Do the writers know that he's being a freak or what?
Yeah, I don't know. He's
like a super problem.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree.
We got to chain you up, dude.
We
got to leave you other side of the yeah. How good. A flashback scene shows the hatch about to implode following the failure to enter the numbers in Live Together, Die Alone, that episode. After Desmond twists the key, he suddenly wakes up in 1996 in a London apartment with his girlfriend, Penelope Widmore. And he is shown to have vague memories of his time on the island. Yeah, so this is different than just like a regular flashback.
Yep.
Desmond seems to
time travel.
Yeah, have vague memories of the time. Yeah, I wasn't reading it as like straight up time travel, but like there's something between flashback and like instant transportation like that. But yeah, I mean trav travel is a good way.
Circular time.
Mm-hmm.
We say in the business.
The time biz. Desmond is clearly puzzled, but is relieved to finally be with Penny again. Desmond later goes to Penny's billionaire father, Charles Widmore, and asks for his permission to marry his daughter. Widmore rejects Desmond, who is crushed and humiliated, and a real dick move.
The most dick move you can muster on television. He pours himself. He takes
two glasses.
He pours himself a little, finger of knockoff Macallan whiskey.
Yeah, not Macallan. Whatever, like McCutcheon.
McCutcheon whiskey.
McCutcheon 60.
And then he says, like, this sip costs more money than you'll make in a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not worthy of my whiskey and you're not worthy of my daughter. Though the way he says it, because he's kind of going slow, for me, even having seen it before, he's saying it so slow, you're kind of like, is this going to turn around? Is he going to do like one of those things where he's like, you are not worthy of my daughter. You're much better than I could ever hope for my daughter. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm not going to let you marry her. I'm going to ask you to marry her. One of those roundabout things. But then
everybody's going to get a bottle of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they make whiskey that's that expensive?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to say Macallan whiskey is affordable. I don't own it. I don't know how much it is. But I'm going to say that you probably could own it if you were inclined. And I feel like that would it's
what
like
do they say
probably
about
a couple $100 or something like that, which if Desmond's really hard on his luck and he's not making like $200 in a month.
Pappy Van Winkle's Family Reserve 20 years old from Liquor Stars, which maybe I shouldn't have said that. That's is $7,850.
Pappy Van
That's
Winkle's?
pretty expensive.
Wait.
Yeah.
But how much is I just looked at Macallan on TotalWine.com, and it's like, okay, yeah. There's some that's like $75 and there's some that's like 25 year. It's like $2,800. But like
Okay, so
maybe he's not making
I
twenty eight
guess they
hundred
do
bucks in
make.
a month, but the guy didn't down the whole bottle. He gave himself
Yeah, just a sip. How
a
many
sip.
sips would it take to fill up a bottle? It'd be like
I don't know. We're
100 sips.
talking like $100 shot or something like that. I think I feel like our man Desmond's making more than a couple $100 a month. So actually, sir, I do make more than that.
Well, just like this fictional whiskey, I'm just wondering, is this the most valuable liquid of all time?
Yeah. What is the
Anyway,
most valuable liquid? People like, I feel like that's one of those little dumb facts. At some point, I heard somebody
it's
say it's like,
actually printer ink
it's printer
instead of
ink.
gold.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
the thing I've heard.
that's
Yes.
very red. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's probably also not that. You could, it's probably something
Almost
else.
certainly not.
Probably something weird.
Mhm.
Probably something really weird.
Yep. Walking out of the building, Desmond sees Charlie singing and playing his guitar for money on the sidewalk. He's playing Wonderwall.
Yeah. How did they swing that? That seems like it cost a lot of money.
They just listen. They got money for Robin Weigert. They got money for Wonderwall.
He's
Desmond
in
asks
Scotland. Like, they're in the UK. They've got
in the UK. I don't know if they're in Scotland. I don't think they're in Scotland.
but they're Scottish. But they do
Desmond's
have
Scottish.
Desmond's Scottish, but I think the other one is Scottish too. And the McAllen is Scottish too, isn't
Well,
it?
the only reason I say that, and like you could totally be right, is that like at some point Desmond like runs in to see his friend.
And it has a
into
Union
like
Jack. That's what I was gonna call out.
Well, but then like the friend is like, "Ugh," and we see a drenched Scotsman or something like that. Like, why would you call out like oh, it's a Scotsman if like you're in Scotland, you're like, okay, yeah, it would be.
That's
like,
true. That's fair.
That's the only thing. But he also does see like the army recruiting poster, which was spelled honor HONOR, which is apparently an issue, an error. But to like join up and like be like part of like the Scots Guard or something. It's part of Scotch Guard, and
Nice.
so that probably would have been Scotland. So I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, we see that on Charlie's guitar case, it's Charlie Hieronymus Pace.
Charlie Hieronymus Pace. Okay.
Yeah,
Who's that?
like Hieronymus Bosch,
Yeah, who's that?
the painter.
Okay. What'd he do?
I don't know. You definitely recognize. It's like one of those like really big like tableau stuff where there's a bunch of like weird like people with spears in them and stuff. Garden of Earthly Delight seems to be a big one. But what do we got? Okay, Bosch's religious beliefs are unknown, but interpretations of the work typically assume it is a warning against the perils of temptation, which would fit with Charlie's character being a heroin addict.
I've seen this guy before.
Yeah, you were. Yeah,
I've seen him around. I've seen this guy on Twitter, probably.
yeah, you pass him by.
I've seen him. I've seen his pictures.
Yeah, keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, keep going. I would describe them as a little freaky. He's got a lot of freaky stuff.
Ooh, trippy stuff. Anyway. Okay, keeping it moving. Desmond asks Charlie if he remembers him, but Charlie doesn't. Frustrated, Desmond rants about his time on the island and predicts it will rain, which it suddenly does. At a pub, Desmond meets with his friend, a physicist, and after retelling the events of the island, asks him if time travel is possible. But the physicist denies it. Hearing familiar music, Desmond predicts for several events to happen in the pub tonight, namely the outcome of a football game being broadcast on TV, as well as a thug about to attack the bartender. But neither event happens. Later, while shopping for a ring for Penny, Desmond runs into the shopkeeper, Eloise Hawking. She tells Desmond of his future. Hawking takes Desmond on a walk, and Hawking notices a particular man with red shoes just before he's crushed to death by a falling scaffolding. She explains that although she knew the man would die, she did not help him because the universe has a way of course correcting, and he would die anyway. If she warned him of the scaffolding, he would be hit by a taxi the next day. If he warned him that he'd break his neck in the shower, he would have an accident the next day.
That's like the plot of Final Destination, which is definitely out by this point. But okay.
We're talking about like physics and Hawking. I wonder who this Hawking character could be a reference to.
Howard Hawkins. Howard Hawks.
Mm-hmm. The University of Iowa Hawkeyes.
The Hawkeyes. Eloise. Is her first name? Isn't that a little girl?
Eloise, yeah.
Isn't that like a little girl in a book? Or a pig? Something like that?
You think girls are pigs?
No, I'm saying it's like a little girl in a... It's a book that's a girl in a book, or it's a pig in a book. Like a fictional talking pig or something like that.
These are our various cultural references. I was talking about Hieronymus Bosch and the Garden of Earthly Delights, and you're like, isn't there like a little like talking pig picture book? Yeah, I don't know, man. It sounds like some baby shit.
It is. It literally is. Yeah. It's a girl. It's a little girl in a book.
Sounds good. Desmond and Penny go on a walk together and take a picture where he breaks up with her after realizing that he does not have enough money to support her. He returns to the pub, and the predictions he made the previous night turned out to be true that night. This shows that Desmond does have the precognition. His timing was just off. Desmond warns the bartender of the thug attacking him, and he ducks, but the thug's bat hits Desmond and he is knocked out. He wakes up back on the island naked as seen in further instructions. Is this just like a thing that happens in the UK or something? It's such like a funny, like crazy thing to happen in like a seemingly like kind of like normal everyday setting that just like someone walks in with a bat. And
broad daylight, you know, not like not at all an empty bar, you know? Yeah. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. The flashback ends and Desmond is pulled off of Charlie by Hurley. They help Desmond to his tent. Charlie tries to get an answer from him one last time. Desmond reveals that both times he rescued Claire, he was really saving Charlie. Charlie would have been electrocuted if Desmond hadn't inserted the rod, and Charlie would have drowned attempting to save Claire from the ocean had Desmond not done so. Desmond tells Charlie that although he has prevented his death twice, Charlie is destined to die.
Mm-hmm. I was sure you would have been stoked to hear that, or you were stoked.
I know.
I wanted to be
some
sitting
good
next
news
to you.
to end the episode.
I really wanted to be sitting next to you when you finally got that revealed to you.
Yeah, I wrote down some good news to end the episode. Like it's a good way to go out on the podcast too. Is like, yeah, I guess Charlie's heading out soon. That's all right.
Yeah.
What happened at the very beginning of this? Like Charlie and Hurley are going through like Sawyer's like belongings, like through his pit and stuff on the beach, and they find like a stack of porno. Who brought all that porno onto the plane, dude? What was that about?
Yeah, pretty crazy. Maybe they kept it in the bathroom or something like that.
Just the plane did?
Just the plane did, yeah. That's what I would say if I'm the guy who brought it on. I'm just like, actually, it might have just nobody, maybe none of us brought it on. Maybe it was actually just on the plane, and we don't really have anything to get to the
flying
bottom.
Pervert Airlines,
yeah, the bottom of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's an Australian thing. Also in the flashbacks with Desmond and Penny, Desmond's trying to like tie his tie, and then like Penny's like, all right, let me take care of it, and she does it and just ties the worst knot I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I mean, we've seen it happen with Jin and Sun, but like this I gotta impress your dad is
everybody's trying to impress dads.
It's pretty bitched up of Desmond. Like let's just not, man. Let's just listen to the women. Why don't we just go do something else. We don't need to worry about that too much.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 this episode.
Oh, this is a 4 for me. I love Desmond. And I like the, back to
I do like Desmond.
Scotland stuff. Back to the UK. Back to your whatever country in a country thing.
You just liked thinking about Scotland this week.
Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah.
Charlie says, we're on an island at some point when Desmond says, we were on an island together. And then Charlie's like, we are on an island.
This is a reference to the United Kingdom.
But I've explained to you before that I like the feeling of, when you remember that the UK is an island.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
You're like, dang, these guys are islanders. Island vibes. That kind of thing. You don't think about it much.
I guess. No. Yeah. All right. That's all for the show today. If you like the show and want to hear more from Ben and I, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/drskeleton. Every week, Ben and I release a bonus hangout show and get into the stuff that's just simply too hot for the main feed. We're going to hash out the differences between the various Nestors and Matt Gates. Get into that sort of thing. Write into the show at drskeletinsartschool@gmail.com. Thanks for listening to the show. We'll catch you next week. Next week, we will be watching the next number of episodes. Check the description. Goodbye.